never allowed any crisis from the Civil War straight through to the pandemic of 17, all the way around 16. We have never let our democracy take second fiddle. We can both have a democracy and elections and at the same time correct the public health. It's the case where we cannot let...
This was Joe Biden talking about the Wisconsin election. Hey, Joe Biden, we're in the middle of a pandemic. We have, nearly 500,000 people, more than 500,000 people infected by the COVID-19 virus, just so we can do the tally at this point and understand where we are. 586,941 cases, 23,640 deaths. That's where we're at. The Surgeon General came out and said this is going to be a 9/11 moment and warned everybody, stay home. If you don't have to go out, don't go out. Keep the space, try to get social distancing, all that stuff. But don't go out if you don't need to go out. We are terrified. The more people that are out, the more people that will get ill and injured. There was a meatpacking plant recently. Look at this. Right here. Meatpacking giant closes Dakota plant indefinitely after almost 300 employees test positive for the COVID-19 virus. When you have a large number of people together, the virus propagates that much more. It's understood. It's the reason why the social distancing rules were in effect. It's the reason why the Surgeon General was freaking out and being hyperbolic. It is the reason why hospitals and doctors say, we are coming out so you don't have to. It's why all of that stuff is taking place in a society. And yet Joe Biden is saying an election that doesn't need to be had that day, that can be postponed, nothing will hurt. It's not a destroying of democracy. Many of elections this term have been postponed, and so has elections in the past been postponed. It is not a threat. It's not an issue to democracy. None of that stuff. Elections aren't real. The dates are contrived. If you need to move the election 2 months in the future, you can do that. There's no issue associated with that in real terms. Again, the dates are contrived. It's just the day that we agree to have an election. The Republican governor comes out and says, no, we can't have this election. We need to postpone this election. We don't want the situation where all of these people come together and get potentially ill. Joe Biden sides with the Republicans and says, no, that election needs to take place. Now, why did Joe Biden side with Republicans? Joe Biden sided with Republicans because basically he didn't want to wait 2 months. He needed that election to be held now. He could put a foot in his mouth. He can screw up. He could say all sorts of weird and odd stuff between now and then. It's not like he's been having the best reception in regards to having interviews. He wants this done as soon as possible, meaning, yes, I need people to go out and potentially die to drag my decrepit ass over the finish line. But what about Republicans? Did you think about that? The media wasn't really talking about that. They were talking more about Joe Biden in Wisconsin. The story about Wisconsin is not Joe Biden, believe it or not, even though that has been the thing that more people talked about because that's the big ticket story. That's the story. That's the lightning rod. But why on earth would Republicans join in with Joe Biden and call for these elections to be held so fervently so that they are willing to literally take the governor to court and say, no, this election, goddammit, will be held on this day. Why indeed? And more importantly, and more interesting to that, is that Republicans, all of their plans still lost. Welcome to the soapbox. My name is Jamarl Thomas. This is the Progressive Soapbox. Guys, if you dig this content, please like, share, subscribe. You can always support PayPal, Patreon. This content, in real terms, really is brought to you by you. So if you indeed dig the content, please consider supporting the channel. Even $1 helps. For that matter, liking the video and sharing the video, all of those things are amply appreciated. What was this race about in Wisconsin? Why? Why did the Republicans join in hand in hand with Joe Biden and says, yes, this election need to be held, even going to the Supreme Court in order to make that work? Now, that case was fought to along ideological lines. The catch here is this. The Republicans also had an election that was taking place in Wisconsin along with the primary. In 2018, Republican lawmakers considered changing the date of the Democratic presidential primary, which was expected to draw high turnout to protect Kelly's candidacy. At the time, Fitzgerald said moving the Democratic contest to March would give the justice a better chance of winning. Adding to the drama, Kelly also offered his own opinion on Twitter Monday before the court decision, even though... Now, what this means is there are two people who are running for a race. Kelly and Fitzgerald. Kelly, the Republican, Fitzgerald, the Democrat. The Republicans wanted that race on that particular day because in regards to the information that they had at their disposal with like absentee ballots and everything else, they assumed that the depressed content in the vote and combined with that level of imbalance that was there between the Republicans and the Democrats in regards to like, I think it's absentee ballots. They assumed that they had a better chance of winning if the election was held on that date with the depressed level of turnout. Because with the imbalance, they thought they can win. This is Washington Post. I love this. Wait a minute, if I can find it. Right here. Liberal challenger is projected to defeat the conservative incumbent in Wisconsin Supreme Court race. I love this. I love this. You have no idea how much I love this. And I'll explain why in a moment. A liberal challenger is projected to defeat the conservative incumbent for a seat on the Wisconsin Supreme Court, a key race that, at the heart of the Democratic accusations of Republicans, risk voters' health and safety, not just Republicans, Joe Biden, let's be very clear, going forward with last week's election amid the coronavirus pandemic. Jill Karfowski defeated Daniel Kelly, whom then Governor Scott Walker appointed to the state's high court in 2016, according to projections issued by the Associated Press. Now, why do I love this so much? It's not because I'm all that enthralled by the race of Supreme Court, by the Supreme Court stuff. I'm sorry. Let's see. I'm just reconciling something. I think I misspoke, but I'm not sure. The editor to the drama, Kelly, offered his own opinion on Twitter. Was expected to draw high turnout. Kelly's candidacy at the time, Fitzgerald said moving forward. Okay, fair enough. All right, so the judges that were at stake is Jill Karfowski and Daniel Kelly. Daniel Kelly was appointed by Scott Walker. Now, the reason why I love the fact that the Republican lost in this has nothing to do with the Democrat. I have no idea who that Democrat is. I don't even care who that Democrat is. To me, it's the point that they tried everything in their power to effectively game the system in order to get their person across the finish line, even if that meant risking people's lives. And they lost all of their best laid plans, and they still lost. The only reason I care about this race, I don't know anything about this Democrat. I care about this race because the Republican Party tried to cheat and was willing to risk people's lives in order to do so. And cheat, I mean, they knew that the vote was going to be suppressed. They knew that people weren't going to come out their houses. They knew there were going to be polling location shutdowns. And they knew all of that and assumed that all of that will work to their ends to get their particular candidate, Daniel Kelly, over the finish line. And what ended up happening was not that Daniel Kelly got over the finish line. Daniel Kelly lost. Daniel Kelly lost. Like, share, and of course, subscribe. Thanks all.